Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Donkey Projections. I'm Eric, and we have Lucas as always.
Hey everyone.
Today is September 18th, 2021, and today we're going to be talking about the somewhat contested 2022 Arizona governor election. We're going to be talking about exactly who the main candidates are as of right now, a bit of their backgrounds, their campaign strategies, and some other Republican primary members, and then we're going to give you our final prediction.
And with that being said, let's go right into it. So let's go with a quick background on this race. The incumbent governor right now is Doug Ducey, an interesting guy because even though he got a lot of pressure from Donald Trump pushing him to, find those missing ballots. Of course, the election was not rigged. Joe Biden did win Arizona fairly. But despite those calls, he ignored them and he certified the election results. Now, Doug Ducey, he cannot run for re-election as he is term limited, but Doug, in general, he is a pretty strong candidate. In 2018, for example, he actually did quite well in the governor election, winning it by almost 15 points, even though Martha McSally lost that election to Kirsten. Heading to the Republican primary, though, it's going to be a very interesting primary because the three, I would say, two or three main names are Matt Salmon, Kimberly Yee, and Kari Lake. So the big talked about name is Kimberly Yee because she did very, very well in her 2018 race. We'll discuss this further later. And she could provide a formidable challenge to for Democrats in the general election. However, the interesting thing is Matt Salmon, so I think it's pronounced Salmon. I'm not sure about it. Matt Salmon or Salmon and Kari Lake are actually doing a little quite well with endorsements and in the polls so far. Looking at endorsements, Matt Salmon has been getting a lot of Republican support from current senators. Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, these are well-known names. Andy Biggs, who's a very well-known Tea Party member of the House. And the Club for Growth, another very well-known Republican, group. All of them are backing Matt Salmon, which I think is a very bad idea for Republicans if they want to win this race, because he's really not that great of a candidate compared to someone like Kimberly Yee. Looking at this polling right now, it's either Kari Lake, Matt Salmon doing quite well. Obviously, a lot of undecideds, which will be very interesting to see what ends up happening. I'll further talk about this later, but for now, I'll toss it over to Eric to discuss the Democratic primary, even though we kind of basically know who's probably going to win that anyway.
Yeah, sure. So let's turn it over to Katie Hobbs. She's basically running uncontested. Yeah, there are a few other candidates, but they essentially have no chance. Hobbs is the most credible out of the three. She kind of built her name the most out of these three. So she got into Arizona state politics in 2010. She was in the Arizona House. Then she kind of made her way up to the Arizona Secretary of State in around 2017, I believe. But then she really got popular in the news actually around the 2020 election, because we knew that Arizona was a highly contested state there. And Katie Hobbs was kind of acclaimed and kind of praised for handling the election really well and just making sure and keeping the public informed about the status of the ballots and kind of trying to maintain the integrity of the election. So she kind of got praised for that. And although there are no official numbers, I think she's generally approved in the state of Arizona. So with all of this in mind, with few controversies, she decided to place a bid in the governorship, which, she's built her way towards. So she kind of has a good chance because I believe she's a moderate Democrat. I'm not sure if she's the most moderate, but she's also not the most progressive, which is a good kind of way to run in Arizona, because Arizona's, as Lucas will dive into, do not like extreme candidates that align with Donald Trump, but they also don't like super progressive candidates. It's kind of like this transitionary state because it just recently voted for Joe Biden and as a Democrat.
Right, and I'll hop into Kimberly Yee now. So she's running an interesting campaign for governor. I'll add I'll add the video here in the video itself because I don't want to play it on this recording because it did lag a little bit when we were practicing this. But essentially, and I'll play it right now, as you can see, she's connecting herself pretty decently to President Trump, which probably is a good idea in the Republican front. Actually, I don't want to say that because Republicans in Arizona are more of those moderate establishment kind of Republicans. But connecting herself so tightly to Donald Trump might prove issues for her in the general election because a lot of those suburban voters in 2020 swung to Joe Biden, those suburban ancestral Republican suburbs. For example, in Maricopa County, they swung to Joe Biden because, he touted his relationship with John McCain, and they love John McCain. It's their favorite son. So Kimberly doing that isn't that great. And I've heard the argument also regarding her election performances in 2018. She won, and thank you to ACO for providing this map, by 8.56 points, which is a very large margin when you compare that to Martha McSally, who actually lost this election to Kirsten Sinema, obviously a very moderate Democrat. So taking a look at these comparisons, obviously it was a very impressive win. And I would agree that she is a pretty good candidate, but I don't believe she ran such a pro-Trump campaign back in 2018. And that could spell further trouble for her in 2022 if she's going to do that. So in my opinion, if she does end up being the nominee, she will, in my opinion, still win. I would say it's a tilt R, but it's not like a lean or likely R because of, this Trump relationship, which might not play out too well. So I'll hand it over to Eric now to discuss our prediction for this governor election, whether it be, we'll give both, one for Matt Salmon and for Kimberly, even though I kind of said that already.
So I guess we'll get started with the final prediction. Assuming Kimberly Yee is the final Republican nominee, then she'll probably take it in a tilt Republican margin. This is going to be a pretty close race, and obviously we're going to be updating all of you as time goes on and as time gets closer to the 2022 election. We are slowly getting closer. We're only a year away now, approximately. But if Matt Salmon gets the Republican nomination, and he's kind of the type of worst candidate between the two, then Katie Hobbs will be able to take the state in around tilt to lean margin because Salmon, as Lucas said, does like to align with Donald Trump a lot. So Kirsten Sinema would take the advantage here as Arizona is becoming very popular with the suburbs. Suburbs are becoming more popular in Arizona, and as we saw in 2020, they voted more Democratic. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think you meant Katie Hobbs there. But anyway, yeah, you're correct. I would agree with you completely. I think it would go tilt R and tilt D. And with that being said, that marks the end of it for today. Thank you all so much for watching and like this episode. Please like if you like our content. Please subscribe. And we'll see you in our next episode tomorrow.
See ya. Kimberly Yee is the Republican nominee. I think Kirsten Sinema will take it right around in a tilt margin.
You mean Kimberly Yee will take it in a tilt margin?
What did I say? Did I say Kirsten Sinema?
Yes.
Whoops. Okay, it's time to cut that. Final Republican nominee, then Kristen Sinema will take the state. Yeah.
You mean Katie Hobbs, right?
Bro, what?